guys, so obviously my first video. I'm gonna try to get into this making videos every time my car breaks or I do something different with it, which honestly with the way the car's been going lately, it's probably gonna be more me repairing it than me having fun with it at a drag strip or an autocross event. So right now the car is having kind of an issue with ignition right now. So that's why my coil packs are all taken apart and why there's random spark plugs and wires and coils laying around. So the issue right now is that this is not getting any signal from the ECU at all to fire. They're IGN-1 alpha coils. I've tested every single wire on it and I'm not getting anything from the ECU. Adaptronic has been really helpful with diagnosing everything. So what we came to the conclusion of is that the M2000 standalone ECU that I have from Adaptronic right now is fried. I mean, there's not really a better way to say that. The driver in it is not actually putting out any signal at all. No positive voltage to get the car firing that coil. So there really isn't much that I can do. I'm going to send off the ECU to them. I know they're going to fix it quick. I've dealt with them before with other people and helped them get their stuff warrantied. So I know they're going to do it right and get it back to me as fast as they possibly can. I know they have a lot of customers and stuff, but I'm hoping maybe the car will only be down a couple months because I do have to ship it to Australia and it has to go through customs and they have to do diagnostics on it, but I'm assuming they're probably going to end up having to get me to buy a whole new ECU, which is it is very expensive and pretty out of my budget for right now. So hopefully I ended up doing some random jobs here and there, trying to make some extra cash, because a $1,250 ECU is not exactly easy to come by. Especially when I really want to buy it new. I don't like buying used ECUs. So I guess I'll get into what the car is and kind of some of my other projects that are going on, or I guess my wife's project. So I can't remember if I did say it in the beginning of the video. This is my 1994 eunos Cosmo. It is a 13 BRE. It is not a 3-rotor car. And because it is a Cosmo, obviously it's right-hand drive. It's not that the camera's flipping it or anything. They only ever made the car in Japan, so everything's right-hand drive over there. The car was an Auto EXE show car, so the body kit that is on it is an Auto EXE body kit, which I would love to get another or a backup body kit for this thing, but they're ridiculously difficult to come by and few and far between, and oh my gosh, they're out of my budget. So we'll start at the back. In the fuel tank we have 3 Warborough 450 LPH pumps. I know it's overkill, but I would rather be safe than sorry. It has an AN8 fuel feed line all the way from the tank to the engine, or to the fuel filter, AN8. It has a built-to apex, I guess kind of a sump. Well, it's not a sump because it has pumps. It's their fuel pump hanger bracket. My wheels are reps. I'm not even going to go over that. They were cheap and they were there and they were the right offset, kind of. The car's kind of gutted electronically. It doesn't have any AC, no radio. Pretty much none of the nice things that made these cars, you know, nice to drive and so advanced back in the day. It has a custom drive shaft made by a shop here. It is absolutely overkill for this car. I don't honestly think I could ever break it. The car is 5-speed swapped. The transmission is from an RX-7 FC Turbo 2. And then the clutch is an ORC twin disc. And then I do have the RX-8 starter upgrade for this one. because the engine is Bridgeported. It has a Pineapple Racing Bridgeport on it that I did myself. I mean, I'm sure I screwed it up, but it runs and it has decent compression and hot starts. So I can't really ask for much more on that, but that is why I did the RX-8 starter upgrade, because obviously the faster the engine spins, the more compression it has. So it does make it a lot easier for Bridgeported cars built by amateurs to start. I guess next would be Apex seals. I run E and J Apex seals. I did run Goopy the first time. Just E and J had a sale going on at like Christmas time or something like that. So I ended up going with E and J. I haven't had any issues out of them. I haven't bent them. I haven't broken any of them. For me, I always break side seals and corner seals. I don't know why, but the car just has tons of issues and the car hates me, and I think it's cursed or something. Side seals are Atkins cryo seals. I do have stock corner seals with the little rubber plugs in them. The rotors are A-weighted rotors. They're lighter and help the engine rev faster or something. I'm sure that's wrong, but something like that. That's what the impression that I had. I have plenty of spare engines and parts and things, so I picked the best ones that I thought, which were, I thought at the time, A-weighted rotors. The E-shaft is still factory. I don't think I've honestly replaced anything else, because it does have an adjustable oil pressure regulator on it. It has a built-to-Apex oil pan that's like fully braced and everything. It's like one piece. It's not a girdle that you bolt in between the pan and everything. It's for the Cosmo specifically, because something about the sump on the oil pickup tube is different. So I did have to buy it from for a Cosmo, but I got it from Built to Apex. It really wasn't that expensive, and apparently it helps hold the engine together a little bit better. I have turblown through studs. They don't have threads at the end that thread into the front iron. They actually go fully through the engine in all the places that it can go through the engine. I think that's it for the inside of it. So we'll do everything bolted to the engine, I guess, at this point. I do have an electric water pump. This is the Built to Apex EWP adapter. I have the Davies Craig water pump. I guess we're already right here. I have a V-mount intercooler. It's a Rotary Works. It's just the cheapest one, but they don't exactly make one for the Cosmo, so I just decided to buy the cheapest one because I was going to have to cut it up anyway. I've got a FFE 36 with one missing tooth trigger wheel. It's reluctor, not Hall. It's got a stock alternator. I have no clue how it's keeping up with the voltage demand of 3 pumps and IGN 1 alpha coils, but it does. The timing cover I modified so that I could just put a breather to atmosphere on it. I know it was lazy. I probably should have done a catch can with a vacuum on it, but I didn't. Primary injectors are 1050s. They're injector dynamics. Full function engineering fuel rails for primary and secondaries. The secondaries, I think, are 2000cc injector dynamics. All AN6 feed to the rails. Actually, sorry, AN8 to the rails, and then AN6 coming out of the rails to the fuel pressure regulator. I have the injector dynamics fuel filter that they came out with, just because it's a cartridge style and it's stupid easy to change, and it's nice to be able to actually see if the fuel filter's clogged or anything, because when you start pushing power, if you have a fuel issue, you're going to immediately just absolutely ruin your engine. I used to have a 3-port Mac valve for my boost controller, but I was having issues with the ECU not triggering it. So I decided to just undo it, put a vacuum T in there. I know that's wrong. I know I'm going to get criticized for that, but it works, and it brings the car's boost down to like 32 to 34 pounds. So, I mean, I understand that that's still absolutely ridiculous, but I mean, it works, and it works very well. I'm up in the mountains, so it's not like it's really going to get much boost anyway. Turbo, I have a Borg Warner. I think it's a 9174 or a 9274, I think. Um, it is an EFR. It's internally wastegated. I have the dual port turbo smart wastegate, and then I've got an atmospheric blow off valve from Turbo Smart for the EFR turbos. Let's see. I've got AEM IGN 1 Alpha smart coils. I know a couple of you guys are going to give me advice and stuff, and I really do appreciate that. I've already tested the coils. The coils are all good. The ECU just isn't putting out any voltage. So it actually just isn't triggering the coil to begin with, because I put a positive charge to the actual trigger of the coil and it fires perfectly fine. It's just as strong as the rest of them. And I moved pins around at the ECU, and I mean it worked perfectly fine. Like T1 was firing T2 coil if I switched the pins on the ECU, so it's perfectly fine. Like the coil has no issues, the wiring going to the coil has no issue. It's just the ECU has been used and abused. I can't remember if I said it earlier in the video, but the car did burn down at one point about a year and a half ago. Like, pretty much, I mean, the engine bay was a total loss. Like, everything that was aluminum was melted. It got really hot. And it melted the whole wiring harness. Like, everything shorted out. It melted the fuse panel, so everything just created contact, and there was no fuse in that system. And I didn't get the battery out of the car for probably 2 minutes because we were trying to get the fire tamed down enough so that I could try to cut the cables with a sawzall, but it took forever for us to get the fire at least controlled enough for me to try to get voltage out of it. But the ECU made it out like a champ. I know a bunch of people have crap to say about Adaptronics, saying that they're weak and any kind of issue turns out to be a huge one, but honestly, I haven't had any issues out of mine until now, which is, I mean, seriously, it's incredible. I've put this ECU through hell. I made my first terrible wiring harness with pretty much no fuses. I have shorted that ECU out probably 2 or 3 times. I mean, that thing is a tank. But going into the wiring harness thing, the wiring harness I completely made myself from scratch. The first one I made was absolutely terrible. The triggering for the coils and all kinds of stuff was wrong. I didn't have pretty much any relays to anything. It just always power to everything all the time. I knew what I was doing, but I cut so many corners because the car was a race car and I really didn't care about making it a daily driver or anything. But then I was forced to make it a daily driver, so I had to start repairing things. So I finally did it correctly from Wandering Gaijin Tuning, the guy that taught me everything about rotaries that I know today. Taught me how to not be an idiot and to make a wiring harness correctly and safely. So once I did that, the car ran perfectly, 0 issues. Started every single time. Pumps were staged. I mean, it was incredible the way that it was set up. He just kind of walked me through it over Facebook Messenger and stuff, and even in person when I did live in Japan for the short amount of time that I did. I really think that's about it for the engine bay. I'm sure I've missed or screwed up a bunch of stuff. Oh, I do have water methanol injection. I have 2 of the AEM injectors. It's a progressive controller that starts at, I think, like 14 psi and then just never shuts off, and it progressively shoots more methanol in. And I can trigger it with the ECU also on a button. So my defroster button for the car actually activates the methanol system. And then the rear defroster, so the defroster that goes to the AC system that would change the blend door motor to thaw off the windshield, that one does the methanol. And then the rear window defroster actually activates the anti-lag for it. So I'll try to upload a couple of videos or try to put a clip if I figure out how to do it of the car doing anti-lag. It's ridiculously loud. The car has 3 mufflers on it, and my neighbors all still hate me. I've done everything I can to make the car quiet, but it's a bridge-ported Rotary. I mean, it's never gonna be quiet. I really can't think of anything else. If you guys have any questions or want to hear about my wife's project, I'll try to go into depth with it, and I can walk you through what the plans are going to be for hers. I mean, her car is going to be a big single turbo FD wide body, but I can walk you through all the parts and stuff that we're going to throw on it. It's going to be pretty similar to my build, except street ported. She wouldn't let me bridge port it. I mean, if you guys have any comments or, have any suggestions or anything like that, just let me know. Just try not to be too mean. I can take criticism and stuff, but I've seen how some people, get treated on the internet, and I'd like to keep making these videos, and if you guys like them, just let me know and I'll start making more. But I'll try to take you guys' suggestions because you're the ones watching them. I mean, just let me know. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.